So the compact crossover segment is one of the very most competitive segments in the US. And the Chevy Equinox has long been a popular but not quite best-selling option. However, Chevy is trying to jump up the sales charts with the introduction of this, the all-new 2025 Equinox. This new crossover is promising to really elevate the design, features, and especially the technology over the previous generation. So does this new Equinox have what it takes to take on RAV4 and CR-V head-to-head? Well, let's go ahead and find out. Alright, so let's get things started here with the exterior design. Now obviously, Chevy has done a lot of work to make this Equinox look a lot more handsome and a lot more Traverse-like, and you'll see that begin up here with our grille. So today we have the RS trim level. This is a top-of-the-line trim level, and of course it's going to also be the sporty trim level. So you're going to have things like your full gloss black grille, you've got the black bow tie, and you also have RS branding. Now if you choose the active trim level, that's going to give you really a completely different look that's going to kind of emphasize ruggedness. Now, in terms of our lighting, we do have a very premium headlight arrangement. So up here at the top is our daytime running light and turn signal indicator. This down here in a separate housing is your actual headlight itself. It is a projector LED for both your low and high beam, and that is standard equipment. Also, I'm really liking the fact that we have available LED fog lights across the entire lineup. That's something that a lot of the rivals have been eliminating. Now moving on to our wheels, you do have a lot of different choices. They're going to begin at 17-inch alloys. However, here on the RS trim level, you have a standard 19-inch alloy. That's what this design is. One interesting thing is you can actually option on a 20-inch alloy for this RS trim level. So that's a very large wheel for this segment. I think it looks quite nice. Also, all the trims are going to have this kind of squared off wheel surround finished in the matte black plastic, as well as your lower elements. We've got blacked out Equinox branding as well as a black mirror cap. In terms of our features, all models will have standard blind spot monitoring and heating for 2025.
Now at the side of the all-new Equinox, we're going to see a more squared off look than before. And as far as overall vehicle length, we're coming in at 183 inches long. Now in terms of some of those design elements that you're probably already noticing, we do have raised roof rails, and that goes for both this RS and the active trim level, and we have a two-tone roof on this RS. So on the RS, you can get a black roof. On the active trim level, you can get a white roof, and you can even get it on the LT trim level as well. Now, one of the really cool things I do want to point out is the fact that the two-tone roof option is actually a standard thing. You don't have to pay extra for it here on the RS or the active trim level. Now, kind of going around into this rear area, you'll see this piece that juts out, just like what we saw on the Traverse. I think it looks really good. And then you have a blacked out piece that goes straight into your rear glass. Now, as far as the rear design is concerned for this new Equinox, I have to say I really love the way this thing looks. It has a lot of the elements that we saw originally debut on the Traverse, but kind of in a smaller package, and I think it may even look a little bit better. Now, up top, we have a blacked out spoiler. We have a rear wiper through here. And then let's take a look at these taillights. Now, we are going to notice that we have a clear taillight lens, but the thing I'm really happy about is that we're going to have a full LED taillight, as in every single element is LED, including the turn signal, brake light, and reverse light. So very premium, and that's on all grades of the Equinox. As we drop down to the lower area, this is going to be a mixture of matte black and piano black. As far as your tow rating, it's going to depend on if you choose front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. It's 800 pounds for front drive or 1,500 pounds as a maximum for all-wheel drive. Now, I also want to talk about safety because Chevy was actually quick to point out that buyers in this segment are very, very concerned about safety. It's one of their main priorities, and because of that, they are including every single one of your safety systems as standard equipment for this all-new Chevy Equinox. That is even going to include things like adaptive cruise control and new features such as intersection front collision braking as well. So very advanced safety this year. But guys, there's also an advanced cabin on the inside, so let's dive into that. But first,
If you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12 and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
and we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, let's go ahead and check out the interior. First, of course, we'll look at our key fob. As always, we've got a standard smart entry system for 2025. You do also have remote start built into the fob itself. And to get inside here, there's not a sensor behind the door handle, so you just press the silver button and that will unlock the door. All right, so let's go ahead and take a peek inside. Now this, guys, is a night and day change from the previous generation of the Equinox. Really, we have all the latest and greatest, but before we get into those specific details, let's first talk about our seats. So the LT trim, the base trim, is going to come with a cloth seat. However, if you choose the RS trim level, that's going to upgrade you to the leatherette seat. So as you can see, we have a really nice look to this. So you've got a lot of special details for the RS. Obviously, there's a lot of red accenting, so you're going to see that in this cloth insert. You're also going to have red piping through here. We also have some blue stitching and some embroidering up there in the headrest. It's really a very attractive seat with a lot of different designs going on. Now, as far as the seats themselves, these are going to be 8-way power adjusting with 2-way lumbar on all but the base model. We do also have memory seats as well located right there. But let's go ahead and climb fully inside. Now, climbing fully inside here and closing up the door, let's look at the rest of the cabin materials. Now, obviously, there's going to be some variation depending on which of the trims you choose, but here with the RS, you're going to continue to see materials just like the seats. So our entire center section of the armrest is going to be finished in kind of a leatherette type of material with the stitching details. You do have some piano black accenting through there. It's going to be hard touch on this section. And then as we move to the upper dashboard, this is all going to be a soft touch plastic. We have a leatherette that comes through the center section there, and we do have some piano black accenting going down through here. Everything feels pretty solid as well. There's no padding here even on the fully loaded model, though. I do want to point that out. All right, let's go ahead and fire it up with our standard push button start. Now, obviously, one of the first things you're going to notice when you get inside this vehicle is just how much technology we have on board. And let's get things started here with kind of the individual features at our gauge cluster. So just like a lot of recent Chevys, this has a standard full digital gauge cluster. This is a 11-inch screen. It's on all the trims. You have all the same functionality, including going to the full screen map view. It looks very, very nice. Should point out, a head-up display is unavailable on this new Equinox. And as we come back to the steering wheel, again, the RS is going to have its own specific design. It's a flat bottom. You've got a really nice thick feel to this. It's going to be manual tilt and telescoping. And a surprising standard feature across all grades is a heated steering wheel for 2025. Another thing that really surprised us once we were inside of this cabin is the interior storage. So let's get into that. First of all, we'll open up the main console here. We're in a strict time frame, so we don't have our donuts actually loaded inside. But as you can see, this is very deep. That's not the big story, though. The big story is the fact that we've got storage here. 2 cup holders, a nice wireless phone charging pad on our top spec models, big storage bin up here in the front, and then we've got a giant center pass-through as well. This is really, really good for this segment. And they've been able to do this because they have moved to a electronic column shifter. So obviously you're just going to press down for drive. We do have paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel as well. When we go up into reverse, you're going to be greeted with a 360-degree camera system. This does have a lot of different views that you can cycle between if you choose this option. So this is going to be part of your safety package on the RS and the active trim levels. And just press the end of the stock there for park. You also have an electronic parking brake with brake hold located on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. Now, let's get into some of this area. So we've got full physical controls for our climate options, which is really, really nice. This is a dual zone automatic setup. As you can see, very simple to make those adjustments. We also have, of course, heated seats as you'd expect, but this is the thing that's a little bit unexpected for this segment. Many of the rivals are not offering seat ventilation. This is an available option on both the active and the RS trim levels. And let's go ahead and take a look at the main display. So first of all, this is 11.3 inches, which is much larger than it was in the previous generation. This is also the latest software iteration. So it has Google Apps built into the system itself, like Google Assistant, Google Maps, things like that. We do also have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, again, across the entire board. And inside of here, you will find some of your functions of the vehicle, including your headlight controls. Now we do also, of course, have your volume knob located right over here. 6-speaker sound system is going to be standard across the entire lineup. At least what we're seeing right now, it doesn't look like a Bose system or any upgrade is available. So even here on the RS, you're just going to get that 6-speaker sound system. Taking a look up at the top, we have an auto-dimming mirror, frameless design. This is actually a rear camera mirror because this is also part of that aforementioned safety package. And then finally, wrapping up the front of the cabin, we have a panoramic sunroof. This is offered as an option on all 3 of the trim levels.
Now the good news with the Equinox does not end in the front because it actually goes here to the rear as well. I want to talk about space first because that's a very good element for this model. So we're looking at 39.7 inches of legroom and about 38 inches of headroom. Those are really good figures. That's actually going to slot it above most of the main rivals, such as the Toyota RAV4. It's still a little bit less than Honda CR-V, but a ton of space. I'm 5'9" for reference, and this seat is adjusted to Drew, who is 5'8". I'm still looking at 9 inches of additional knee room, so that's really, really impressive, guys. Also, my feet can slide up underneath of the seat, so I'm quite comfortable. As far as the seat recline, I do want to point out it does not recline any further than this, so be aware of that. We have a fold down center armrest with 2 cup holders inside. And then as far as the features are concerned, I'm happy to tell you that this all-new Equinox will offer heated rear seats. That is something that also a lot of the competition is not including. So I'm happy to see that's an available feature on the RS trim level. We also have two vents through here and 2 USB ports down at the bottom. They're a Type-C variety. Now, if you turn over to the door trim, I want to point out that it's going to be the same as the front. Hard touch in this upper part, but we do have that kind of rubbery leatherette material through the middle section and a little bit of bottle storage down at the bottom. Now, walking up to the tailgate, we do have the AutoSense power tailgate as standard equipment on RS and active trim levels. Now, I say AutoSense because it actually will sense your approach as you walk up to the vehicle, beep a few times, and then go ahead and open up. Like Drew said, we're on a pretty severe time constraint today, so I don't have time to demo all of those features for you. Now, as far as the space is concerned in here, I'm sure you're very curious about this as well because, you know, this is a compact crossover. That's a very important thing. 30 cubic feet is what we're looking at behind the second row of seats. And then with all the seats folded down, we're going to be looking at 63.5 cubic feet as a maximum. So that's a pretty good figure. However, it is going to be less than Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4, so keep that in mind. As far as other features, I do want to point out you have 60-40 split folding seat backs. There are not any handles to fold them from the back here, so I will have to go up there and do it manually. And when we do that, you will notice that the seats do fold pretty flat to the floor. And behind Drew's 5'8" driving position, as far as cargo length is concerned, I know a lot of you guys are curious about that as well. We're looking at 72 inches of overall length behind that 5'8" driving position. From behind the second row, we're looking at 36 inches of length. As far as cargo width is concerned, they did say they made it wider, and we're looking at about 41 inches wide. And cargo height comes in at about 29 inches. So in case you're looking to haul something specific, those are your numbers. Underneath of the floor, you have quite a bit of additional space. As you can see, it goes all the way up underneath of here, and we're also going to have a spare tire integrated underneath of the floor.
All right, so let's go ahead and now talk about what is under the hood for this all-new Equinox. So this is one area that is actually carryover from the last generation. This is a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Our power output is going to be 175 horsepower. Now, depending on if you get front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, that will vary the torque figure. So it's going to be 184 pound-feet of torque with front-wheel drive and 203 pound-feet of torque with all-wheel drive. Now that's not the only thing that actually varies depending on which drivetrain you choose. It actually varies the transmission. So if you choose the front wheel drive model, this will be paired with a continuously variable transmission. And if you choose the all-wheel drive model, it's going to be paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now I do want to talk about fuel economy for a second. With front wheel drive, your overall combined rating is going to be 27 miles per gallon, and with all-wheel drive, it's going to be 26 miles per gallon. The important thing to notice here is that there is no hybrid offering at this time on the new Equinox, so that's going to be your top of the line fuel economy, which is already a little bit behind, 2 to 3 mpg behind what RAV4 and CR-V are getting in their gas variants, and obviously significantly behind their hybrid variants. Now, of course, this is the part of the video where we're ready to head out on the road, but we can't share that quite yet. We're under a driving impressions embargo for a few days, so you will have to come back to the channel to check out our in-depth test drive. When we take that test drive, we're going to get things like our signature sound level rating. We're going to tell you how the ride quality compares to the competition, all types of important things you're going to want to know. So make sure you come back on the date down below so you can get those in-depth driving impressions. But for now, out of respect for Chevy as well as our fellow journalists, we will be honoring that embargo.
Now, price is probably one of the most important things about this new Equinox, and I have good news to share with this as well. Starting at $28,600 for the LT trim level with front-wheel drive, so keep that in mind. Now, as far as these trim levels, like the Active and the RS, they're actually going to have the same price. You kind of pick your flavor. Do you want the sporty one or the more off-road focused one? They're both going to start at $33,000. Now, if you want all-wheel drive, that adds an additional $2,000, and if you're looking for a fully loaded example like this, you can see the price on the screen right now. So overall, it's a pretty attractive price point that does come in quite a bit less than a lot of the other fully loaded rivals such as Toyota RAV4. And if you're looking to buy a Chevy Equinox or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that's going to be where we leave off on this in-depth review of the all-new 2025 Chevy Equinox RS. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, not only are you going to get the latest car reviews such as this, you're also going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel, and I'm sure you won't want to miss out. So do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button down below. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive ducks.